All right, here we go.
New Phineas and Ferb is here.
We're back, baby.
For 104 more days
I know what we're gonna do today.
of summer vacation.
I am ready for summer shenanigans.
Let's do it. Oh, yeah.
All right! We're gonna bust Phineas and Ferb once and for all!
Are we gonna do this again?
New inventions, shenanigans, innators, adventures, and songs.
Brand new summer vacation.
New Phineas and Ferb starts June 5th on Disney Channel and next day on Disney Plus on DisneyPlus.Disney.com.
I'm very excited to talk to one of my favorite actors, and now I have to put in the director title too, Joan Lithgow, who is directing. This is the world premiere of the Douglas McGrath play, Everything's Fine, on Broadway. It's a one-man play, and Douglas wrote it, is acting in it, and it's directed by Joan Lithgow. And it's really interesting because John hasn't directed in years. He's been so busy acting, and Douglas hasn't been acting on Broadway for a very long time. So, John, I'm curious, how did all this come together?
Well, Joan, first of all, it's so wonderful to talk to you again. It's been too long.
Thank you.
It's a great sign that the pandemic is over and we're all back at work.
Right.
Let's hope so. It came together when Doug sent me this piece. I had devised my own solo show a dozen years ago, and eventually I toured it around and finally did it roundabout. And because of that, Doug thought I was the person to have a look at this. And it just came. I had never met Doug. I certainly knew about him, and I'd read his fabulous writing, but I had no intention of directing anything. But as a courtesy to him, I started reading it, and it simply caught fire in my hands. It's such a wonderful piece of writing. And it was sort of big and messy. We worked together to sort of shape it into a play that unfolds in the most amazing way. We worked just on text, then we did a 3-day workshop for about 40 mutual friends of ours, and it was so clear that this is a wonderful piece of theater. So we scared up producers, and here we are. I will only correct you with one thing. It's not on Broadway, it's off Broadway.
I meant off. Yeah, I know. Off Broadway.
And it's a wonderful piece of chamber theater. It's an intimate piece of storytelling between him and an audience.
Right. And it's, as I recall, it's about his growing up as a young teen in Midland, Texas. And then I read, because it brought it all back, this is the town that we all really knew about because baby Jessica.
That's right.
I couldn't believe it. It brought back like it just happened.
I know. Isn't that amazing how that stirs your memory? But yes, he tells that. Actually, he leads with that story. Doug he's an urbane wit. He's the ultimate New Yorker. But the fact that he has this Midland background in his childhood, and tells things like the baby Jessica story with tremendous wit and charm. It so surprises you when it turns into a really profoundly moving tale. All of us have some story from that time in our lives. 14 years old seems to be one of the big fulcrum years.
Right.
And he's telling a story that he has never told before, not even to his own parents. So it is a combination of so much fun to listen to this wit talk about this ironic childhood, this sophisticated man who grew up in Midland, and how it gradually turns into a moving story that really formed him in so many ways. I'm telling you too much, of course. It's me
but
talking
we want to hear
much.
this. We've all been deprived of theater for longer than, as you said, it's the longest you hadn't acted. It's the longest that those of us who love theater haven't really been to a theater.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
my own sense of this is, as we work on it, it's a wonderful piece to do as we emerge from a long, terrible time like this, because it's a piece of storytelling. It's like gathering around to hear someone tell his own story, so much from the heart. It's like it's just the essence of why we go to the theater. It makes you laugh so hard, and then it just you walk
Takes
out
you.
thinking, "I'm so glad I heard this story."
And of
you
course,
know,
John,
we're doing it in Darrell Roth's tiny theater downtown. There's only 99 seats, so you have this
Intimacy.
extraordinary feeling of intimacy. Yeah,
no, that's perfect. And I love that theater. But
Yeah,
it's
it's
interesting when
wonderful.
you look back, because you haven't directed really, right, a long time. When you think about your career, and I'm sure you're so busy in the middle of it and the beginnings of it and all the different curves you've gone on, that you weren't 14 when it started. You were 27 when you were still like a kid and won a Tony Award, and you had just opened in The Changing Room, the play. That was incredible.
yeah. I think I must hold the record for the shortest time between a Broadway debut and a Tony Award win, because it was only about 2.5 weeks.
I know, hard to believe, right?
Opened at the Morosco Theater, the late lamented Morosco on 45th, and on March 7th, and on March 25th, I won a Tony for it. And until then, I hadn't been able to buy an acting job in New York. But I was a fairly successful and precocious young director. But after that, my acting career just took off, and it was so damn fun. I never directed again until this.
I know, amazing, right? And there were so many things that fell into your life. Film, and then Third Rock, From the Sun, The Crown.
Yes.
I mean, major
It's been
things.
a-
The World According to Garp, Terms of
Yeah.
Endearment.
It's been a lot of fun.
I know. Now, is your son still acting, John?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, my son Ian is a wonderful actor. We haven't had a chance to act together since Third Rock, but he's a working New York actor, and a wonderful one.
How great. And when you stepped into Everything's Fine, was that like wearing your old comfortable shoes again, or was it a new language?
It's been very easy, mainly because of Doug. He's so game. He's absolutely fearless. I mean, when you consider that he has never played a role of this, he's never commanded a stage for 90 minutes. He's just so there's this spirit of, bring him on, bring him in here. Can I invite people to rehearsals to watch? He just loves the process. And I would say not a day goes by when I don't get an email from him with another bright idea for either a cut or a funny new joke, or he's a great partner. And so he makes the transition for me from acting to directing extremely easy. Right.
And this is the first time in what, over more than 45 years.
Yeah. I've had my chances, but I for one thing, if you direct something, it tends to be a large commitment of time. And inevitably, I get some acting job offer, which is, I can't turn it down. It's just too much fun. Directing is not all that much fun. You worry all the time. You toss and turn in the middle of the night about things that you haven't solved. And acting it's blissfully irresponsible. You just, as Noel Coward says, the secret of acting is know your lines and don't bump into the furniture. It's a lot easier.
Yeah, but when you think it all started in your 20s and it's still going strong.
Yeah, well, it started even earlier than that, because I grew up in a theater family, regional theater. My dad was a producer mostly of Shakespeare festivals in Ohio, one of which is still going on in Cleveland, the Great Lakes Theater Festival. So I was acting away when I was a little kid, not with any dream that I would ever actually be an actor. I was really much more interested in being an artist. But, got to college and fell in with the theater gang almost immediately. And I was already a seasoned actor in spite of myself. And when you get that much positive reinforcement early on, you're probably going to be an actor.
Yeah, it's okay. But then and John has done so many things. I don't know if any of you caught his Donald Trump poetry.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that was my pandemic pastime. I couldn't act, so I wrote and I illustrated 3 books of satirical verse about the crazy politics of the last 4 years, the Dumpty trilogy. So, you can guess the subject matter.
I know it gave us all such pleasure.
Oh, good. You saw it, Joan? You saw the books?
Yes.
Yeah, but I illustrated them too. It certainly kept me from feeling locked down. I was locked down, but my imagination ran free.
No, and I loved, all the years I've known you and you visited us from the early Sardi's days and everything. I didn't realize you were such a terrific artist.
Well, that was as I said, that was my original intention. And now it's only a hobby. The Dumpty books were the first time I've ever gone public and actually published these were like ink drawings. But yeah, I always do my own Christmas cards and opening night gifts for the cast and closing wrap gifts for the crew of movies. I just don't like to have idle fingers. I keep on doing art, but just for the fun of it. And I respect artists way too much to actually call myself one.
I think you can, though. No problem. John Lithgow, everything's fine. And it's written and performed by Douglas McGrath. John is directing. It's opening off-Broadway at the Darrell Roth 2 Theater, DR2 Theater. And it's opening October 13th, previews September 28th. So,
Joan, it's so great to talk to you. And when you mentioned Sardi's back in the 70s, the first times we talked together,
yeah,
I tell you, my heartbeat sped up. We've been at this a long time.
A long time, and Arlene Francis was my co-host, the one and only great Arlene Francis.
I remember it so well. Yeah.
And
you're better than ever. You're wonderful to talk to.
No, I love talking to you, John. Good luck with the play. I know it's going to be fantastic, and we'll talk again.
To see it. Okay, bye-bye, dear.
Bye-bye.